Recent technological developments may have just made the biggest bridge in the gap between those with audio and visual impairments and those without since the development of Braille. And most ironically, this technology comes from a device that is meant to be used and seen through by the user's eye. While development has already begun by several individuals and companies seeking to broaden the world of the visually impaired, Google's already existing apps, when used in tandem with Google Glass, make auditory impairment nearly obsolete for those who can afford the device. Google Translate, working with Google Glass, can turn any conversation into a subtitle visible on the eyepiece of the glass. Apps such as Question Answer, which looks up answers on the cloud to images seen by Google Glass, and Memento, an app that records surroundings and allows the user to ascribe notes that are read aloud by Google Glass when the area is surveyed by the user, have already begun to prove their worth to the blind community. However, apps that are designed to function for users who are both deaf and blind seem to be missing from this ever-growing list of apps for the impaired. That is where iGlass comes into play. Using interacting apps that coordinates GPS positioning, maps, object recognition, and translate, the wrist-strapped iGlass would enable the blind deaf to navigate in an urban setting with relative ease and safety. The key to making iGlass work is with the method of communication between it and the user. For an individual who has been both blind and deaf since birth, speech and articulation are not really an option, at least as far as voice recognition software is concerned. Using portable, refreshable Braille pin pads and QWERTY keyboard, as well as gesture recognition, iGlass, along with Google Glass, can be interacted with, as well as made to interact with, the user's environment. A speaker built into iGlass can speak for the user to people in the surrounding area or on a phone call. The majority of quick interaction with iGlass, at least as far as its response to the user, is via a simple vibration function. One vibration is a yes or a confirmed. Two vibrations is a no or an unsure, unconfirmed. The button Expound tells iGlass to further elaborate on the confirmed, unconfirmed status vibrate, which iGlass does by use of the refreshable Braille reader pin pads, which presses pins upward, forming Braille characters, which can in turn be read by the user using their free hand. When iGlass feels the need to communicate vital information to the user, it will vibrate 3 times in rapid succession. This notifies the user that iGlass will begin using the Braille reader pin pads, though it will not begin the message until after the user has pressed the Expound button, giving them time to free up their other hand in case it is holding something. It will continue to vibrate in 3s every minute until the user responds. There is also an emergency button that can be activated using the key combination with confirmation. This preset message can be altered by the user prior to sending it if so desired, though it must be keyed in, then is verified through the Braille reader pin pads. This message could be as simple as a message to a friend or relative saying, "Help, I'm lost," or more dire, such as a call to 911. The other component to iGlass is the directional button. This simple device is attached to the wrist-strapped keyboard and is necessary when the user is navigating. Held in the keyboard hand, the user rests their thumb on top of the device. The button, similar to a small thumb joystick, moves in the direction that the user needs to move in to follow the navigation route set by Google Maps in walking mode. To tell the user to stop, the button returns to center, neutral position, as well as drops down into the device body. This device serves as the main device in terms of GPS direction, working in tandem with Google Glass in order to maintain the clearest idea on the direction the user is traveling in at all times. As the user moves, Google Glass constantly updates visual media via object recognition software to notify the user to turn or stop in the event of an obstacle. At roads, it automatically signals the user to stop, and using the object recognition software along with tonal recognition software for crosswalks with audio components for the visually impaired, it tells the user when it is safe to cross. Here's a quick breakdown of the processes by function, and this is assuming, of course, that the user is non-speaking. For urban navigation, it would look something like this. The user types Go, which activates a preset Google Maps app. iGlass vibrates once to confirm, twice if it's unsure. It gives you the option then to press the Expound key if you wish for further elaboration on the confirmation. The user then enters address of desired destination. iGlass vibrates once to confirm or twice if unsure. And then the expound option where it will repeat the address as confirmation using pin pad. Directional button tells how far or where to walk or stop. And the expound button, pressed at any time without vibration prompt, will generate a "Where am I? How far left to go" message from iGlass. Social interaction in an urban setting with iGlass would look something like this. Object recognition picks up person making eye contact. Recognition looks for mouth movement, hand gestures, while Google Translate looks to interpret any incoming audio. iGlass vibrates 3 times rapidly. Only brief pauses between vibration series lets the user know that it's not iGlass, but a person that's trying to communicate with them. User presses expound and places fingers on the pin pads. Automatically, previously generated message plays from the iGlass speakers. Example, "Hello, please be patient as my communication is a little slow." The user will continue to have messages translated to them by the iGlass pin pad and will be able to respond by typing on the Braille keypad, and iGlass will speak for the user. In the event of purchases or interactions involving exchanges, object recognition is used to determine things such as bill denomination, credit card type, and so on. Holding the object up to direct view of Google Glass, then pressing expound will generate a pin pad response from iGlass. These are but a few examples of the possibilities open up to the world of the deaf-blind by iGlass when used in conjunction with Google Glass. As more apps are developed for Google Glass, iGlass will continue to serve as the perfect interface to finally allow those who are both deaf and blind to experience the freedom that most of us sighted and hearing have taken so long for granted.